Well, welcome back to Gardenville.tv, and I'm here with Cameo Wood, and I'm Joe Mitchell from Gardenville. But Cameo, you're very welcome to Ireland again.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here, and I was just wondering, you've arrived in Ireland, but your research on Ireland before you arrived over, I mean, can you tell us a little bit about, the sites that you found were important for researching, the tools that you used?
Yes, so when I first started getting interested in genealogy and especially Ireland, almost all my time was spent on Ancestry.com. That's been really influential for me. But also the online census databases here in Ireland, those were really important. And actually, I used a person who I've never met, a genealogist, is Irish ancestry research, and I've been communicating with him online, and he basically paying him to go and get those physical documents that I've needed that weren't available online. So, and he's been a huge resource for me. And everything, I actually never went to a library, never touched a physical document. So, all of my genealogical research has been through purely virtual. So that's been pretty amazing. So Ancestry and the various census documents, Ellis Island, obviously, and and people who do research through email.
I know, and so all of these tools were I know you're a totally online person, right? But, what about, can you tell us a little bit in terms of, the usual stuff like hotels and places to eat and all that kind of stuff, or are there some sites that you found particularly useful to your...
Regarding the hotel, unfortunately here in Galway, there's only one hotel online that I could actually book, and that was the Lochray Hotel and Spa. So that's actually the one I went to because it was a little frustrating to try to call around and mail checks about. So that's one thing that I did. And then for restaurants, there's Moran's Oyster House, which is over in Galway. And I went there because it was the only place that was reviewed on Yelp. So us Americans, we love Yelp, and there's just not enough Yelping going on here in Ireland. So I encourage you, Yelp around, please. That's YELP.com.
Well, I'm a big Yelp fan myself, so I think we share that passion for Yelp. Now, just in terms of sharing your trip with your friends and family in the USA and elsewhere, can you tell us a little bit about how you're doing that right now? Obviously, the usual social networks, but in particular, tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So I actually take a couple different types of media wherever I go. I have an iPhone and I have an iPad, and I have something called a Look-See. And a Look-See is an HD video camera that you wear in your ear, so it records everything without having to use your hands. So whenever I do something like falconry or horseback riding, I wear the Look-See so that I can record video of everything that I'm seeing. And so the video, and I usually edit on my iPad or my iPhone using iMovie, and then I upload that to my friends and family if they want to see all of the large video. And then I also take photos of everything using my iPhone usually, and then I'm using Instagram. And actually, if you go to my Twitter or my Facebook, you'll see what I like to do is take a whole bunch of photos and pick out 2 or 3 of the best ones, and I use something called Diptyque, which is an iPhone app, and that way you can actually make a collage of your favorite photos and lay them out and have effects. So I like to tell a story of, maybe a photo of myself in front of a castle, and then maybe some little artifacts, and I put all those together in one image. And then I use Instagram, and Instagram lets you take one of these photos and apply some filters to it, and then upload it to Facebook, Twitter, Posterous, basically any kind of social media, the big major ones, uploads it for you. So that's what I've been using primarily to communicate. And then to talk to friends and family, I use FaceTime or Skype every night to talk to everybody.
That's fantastic. All of these tools are very, very easy to use now. So I mean, you don't need a technical manual to figure out all this stuff. They're really, really easy to use, aren't they?
Absolutely, and in fact, I've been using the international roaming on my iPad, and whenever I'm on a tour bus, I'm communicating. There's a video being uploaded as part of my trip every day on YouTube, and so I'll be on the bus downloading YouTube, watching the video, reading the newspaper articles about our trip, and I've just been very, very wired, and I think that now that everyone knows that these devices are just so cheap and so easy to use, I think I've sold everybody on the iPad.
Great. Well, that's great. Well, listen, it's lovely talking to you, and up next we're going to talk to Cameo about entrepreneurship in the Valley and in Ireland. So thanks again.